How's it going, guys? It's the Pixelated Pumpkin, and in today's video, we'll be taking a look at the Sunstar Halloween 2024 catalog. Now, yes, the guys who bring you all the great rip-off animatronics every year are out with a catalog this year, and well, they've been, of course, releasing these catalogs every year, and I always look at them, and yes, they do make more than just rip-offs. There's some actually pretty decent stuff in here, and while, yes, all of it is extremely cheap, I'm still excited to be taking a look at it today. So without any more hesitation, let's do just that and take a look at the Sunstar Halloween 2024 catalog. Here we have the cover page. It's something that's not really necessary to look at, but it's always something I like to look at each year. As you can see, we have a familiar face being the Leatherface sold at Lowe's last year. Now you may be asking, why is there a Gemmy product on your screen when this is supposed to be the Sunstar catalog? Well, Gemmy and Sunstar are technically sister companies from my understanding, and that's why they have some of their products in this catalog, not just Sunstar stuff. You'll see what I mean later on, but anyways, of course, we have the Leatherface right here. I guess he's being included in this catalog this year, and it definitely helps to have some notoriety on the cover. And you can just see how they have this little mock-up here for how you could use their products to decorate your house. Nothing too interesting. So that's enough for the cover. Let's actually break into this catalog. Well, here's the first real page, and right away you could see what I mean about the Gemmy items. Obviously, we have that big 12-foot mummy, a part of this catalog. It's been around for probably like 3 years now, I want to say, so nothing new there. You have some nice hanging stuff at the top, a few new ones. I do like that skeleton with the moving mouth there, that's pretty cool. And then down below we have Oogie Boogie. It's very, very similar looking to the Home Depot one sold not too long ago. In fact, it most likely is just a new variant of it being colored green this time, which actually is way better looking in my opinion compared to the original burlap colored one, because my big complaint with that one, my biggest problem with it was that it wasn't green. Now I know Oogie Boogie's real color is that burlap color, and it's only when he's in the black light where he turns green, but in Nightmare Before Christmas, for like 90% of the scenes with Oogie Boogie in it, he is that green color, so it never made sense to me why they wouldn't just make him that, since that's how he's most recognizable, and it looks like they actually did here, and it doesn't look too bad in my opinion. And then right next to it we have this little hanging ghost thing. Not too bad, don't really have much else to say about it, but that's our first page, and honestly we have one pretty cool item here being that Oogie Boogie. Our next page is another pretty good one as well. We have a few new hanging items along with some standing ones at the bottom. Starting off at the top with the hanging ones, however, we have this actually really cool doll looking one, again with that opening mouth, looks similar to the skeleton one on the other page. I wonder if that's going to be like a jump scare or just like a talking kind of motion. It does say jaw dropping, so maybe it is going to be kind of a jump scare motion, which I think could look actually pretty cool. I do like the design of this one. The face does look pretty creepy. Again, it is cheap looking, but I don't think that's really a problem here. And we have this weird swamp looking thingy next to it. I'm not too sure about this one. It does look pretty strange and interesting though, which I can get behind. And then next to it, we have a actually 12-foot standing Reaper animatronic here, and it even moves from side to side. Honestly, this is a pretty cool looking 12-foot prop. I'm sure it's going to be super, super cheap and super, super unreliable, but it does actually look pretty decent in my opinion, and I think it's really cool that it's going to turn from side to side. This seems to be Sunstar's first true animated 12-foot prop, which, again, I don't think this thing is going to turn out well at all and will probably collapse on itself multiple times, but anyways, I still think it's actually pretty decent looking. It definitely doesn't hold up to really any other 12-foot props from any other companies, but for Sunstar, I have to say they did a pretty good job on this one. We have 3 standing decorations here, and wait a minute, Gordo, is that you? It looks like we might have another ripoff on our hands, but since this one is a full body prop, I really can't say it is a Gordo ripoff for sure here, but it definitely looks like it's taking some liberties from the Gordo animatronic. I mean, just get a look at that little picture there. It's definitely looking suspiciously similar. Anyways, this does say it's a pop-up head animation, so it definitely will be a jump scare. How good that jump scare is going to be? probably not that great, but it's still a decent looking animatronic, and it's kind of cool that they're giving the whole Gordo effect a whole body here, which though, again, it might be kind of a ripoff. It's a ripoff I could sort of get behind here, since they are including something that wasn't even a part of the original prop. Then moving over, we have the witch. That's an old prop. And we have a scarecrow prop. And in all honesty, it's just another generic scarecrow prop from Sunstar. Nothing different about this one here at all. Well, that's it for this page. I have to say, I'm really shocked they made a 12-foot standing prop that's animated without it being a Gemmy prop, too. I'm almost 100% sure that is just purely Sunstar, not Gemmy. So I'm really interested to see how that thing is going to come out once it hits the market. And honestly, they should do the smart thing now and just cancel it, because that thing might fall over and kill somebody. Or it might definitely fall over and kill somebody. But that's it for this page. On to the next one. Our next page is mainly hanging props, and starting at the top we have 4 hanging props. And let's start off with that big weird clown thing. Now, I'm very split on this one, because a part of me likes it just because of how weird it looks. Now, obviously, this is a terrible Halloween decoration, do not get me wrong here, but it's just so weird and strange looking, and unlike any other clown prop I've seen before, I can't help but like it just for that reason alone. Again, I don't think it's good, there's just a weird thing about it that I kind of like it a little bit. The face on there is so strange looking. I mean, it does look like your conventional clown, but at the same time, just the facial features look so cartoony, it's just really hard to make out here. But other than that, I think it's like, again, bad, but, you know, just really strange. Moving on, next to it, we have another clown. This one, a lot more creepy looking with a skull look to it, which I do like. It's actually pretty well detailed, but, you know, just another cheap hanging Sunstar prop. Then we have these 2 pumpkin head guys over here. These are not that bad, I guess. I do like both of them for the most part. They have cool jack-o'-lantern faces. You know, just the same scarecrow sort of pumpkin head guys. Not sure why they both have ties, though. That's kind of a weird design choice. Then moving down, we have this groundbreaker, and yeah, sure, it says the head's an arm move, so that's pretty cool. I do like the light in its mouth. Then we have this weird doll thing. I think we've seen something like this at Lowe's last year, if I'm not mistaken. It's just a stupid thing that rocks from side to side. And then here we have a really interesting one, being the floating death stroller. Okay. I mean, I get what they're trying to do here. You obviously have that ghost holding on to the stroller there, and it does look like it's floating, but there's actually nothing in the stroller, which kind of defeats the purpose of it at the same time. But I guess they intend for you to put something in there yourself. But then it does say the stroller moves back and forth, so it does have some animation. So then if you put something in there, will it weigh it down and it won't work? I don't know. I'm really confused with this one. It also says the Reaper talks, and if this thing has any unique phrases, which I doubt, it'll probably just say, "There's something spooky out tonight, and I think it's you." We might have one of the strangest props of all time on our hands here, but I don't think so. This thing just seems like a weird concept they were throwing around at the Sunstar Industries, and I guess they actually stuck and they ended up making it. And then next to it, we just have that hanging Reaper. Been sold for a million years, really nothing to add on there. And that's it for this page. We had 2 very strange items, being that clown and of course the stroller. But yeah, sure, let's move on. Next page, we got a variety of items, and starting at the top, we have this peekaboo ghost here. It's pretty cute, I guess. It lifts the pumpkin on and off its head, basically showing you the face underneath, which is just a little smiley face, so nothing too scary there, and it's probably very tiny. Then we have this floating, shaking ghost, and this bat they've been selling for probably 100 years now. But then here we have this one, which is very interesting, being this floating girl here. Now, it says it's 31 inches, so that's about 2.5 feet, so I'm wondering how big this thing is going to be, because it seems like a tabletop ripoff of the Levitator girl from Spirit Halloween, as it looks like she lays down and she'll rise up and down with a mechanism hidden under the dress, which literally Levitator girl was that exactly. So it looks like they're stealing again here, but I kind of want to see a video of this thing to make sure first, to really know that's what it does. But from the description here, that's definitely what it looks like it'll do. Moving down, we have that witch door thing. I believe that was from last year, if I'm not mistaken, so I'm not going to say anything about it here. But then moving over, we have this hanging clown. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but it finally looks like they're using new head molds for clowns this year, especially this one, because this thing looks to be another one of those Sweet Dreams knockoffs, but they have this actually pretty creepy looking face on this, which I've never seen used before. This is definitely a new mold for them here, and it actually looks pretty decent. I mean, the prop itself is super cheap, don't get me wrong, but I'm liking this new face mold they're using. Then we have this walking spider, which at first I thought was a jumping spider ripoff, but it says it walks, so I'll give them the pass this time. And we have another clown here, and honestly, this one looks pretty good as well. It doesn't seem to be a ripoff of anything, so that's a plus. And it looks like it uses another new face mold, which looks pretty cool. So it's nice to see them starting to use new stuff, so that's always a positive in my opinion. That's it for this page, though. Our next page is another whole bunch of hanging items, but there is that tree at the bottom which I want to talk about, but we'll go back to the top and start. And from this point on, any non-new items, so any prop or whatever without that little new product seal, I'm just going to be ignoring at this point for time. I'm only here to talk about the new stuff. Anyways, starting with that Reaper with the lantern, I have to say this is actually a pretty decent looking hanging item here. It doesn't look very cheap, and I do like that face mold on it. I'm pretty sure that is new or unique, and the fact it's holding a lantern is also pretty cool. Hopefully that lights up. Then next to it we have this big light up Reaper, which I'm pretty sure the rib cage and the hands light up there. That's pretty cool. It literally is called the light up Reaper, so that's cool, I guess. Pretty generic looking. It's okay. Moving down, we have two new dolls here. A whole bunch of dolls this year. Anyways, these are both hanging props. The first one is, in my opinion, it really doesn't look that good. Just very cheap and generic. The one next to it, however, does have a pretty cool looking face. I'm actually a fan of this one. I don't think it's that great, but the face on it is creepy and unique enough for me to get behind it. And then here's the tree. And now, honestly, this is a really good looking tree prop, especially for Sunstar. They've had a ton of tree animatronics in the past, and all of them have looked horrific, not even like trees at all. But I'm happy to say this one is the first one that actually looks like a tree, and I think it's pretty creepy. I know the eyes only glow, and again, it is super cheap looking. And even when it does look like a tree, it still doesn't really look like a tree. But I think it's good enough for what it is, and it's a pretty decent tree prop overall. Here's our next page, and there's really only one thing I want to talk about on this one. We do have those two little skeletons, but what am I going to say about them? Come on, they're literally the same thing as everything else on this page. Besides that big 10-foot skeleton there. And while, yes, if you guys recall, this guy was included in my rip-offs video last year, he didn't have that lighting kit he had on him now. And what did Home Depot make for the 12-foot skeleton last year? A lighting kit. And what does Sunstar do now? They put a lighting kit on their 10-foot skeleton. That's a little suspicious. Now, obviously, they are ripping off Home Depot again here. Very shamelessly, of course, by adding these lighting details after Home Depot did theirs for their 12-foot skeleton. So, I think it's pretty funny that they're ripping off Home Depot again. They couldn't just have the 12-foot skeleton. They needed to update it to have that lighting kit being a part of it. So, pretty funny stuff. Our next page is a large assortment of tabletop items. So starting at the top, we have that skeletal wind chime there. Pretty cool. I've seen this done before a few times now, and I don't think it's going to get any better than the simple concept it is, so it's nice to see another one. Then we have this skeleton hanging lantern, or honestly, it looks like a lamp. I don't know why it'd be hanging. It feels like something you'd set on a table. But it's still pretty interesting, I guess. Kind of a strange item. These two here, the wind chime and that lamp, kind of remind me of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre with, making decorations and furniture out of human bones and stuff. Moving on to that skull frame with the projector eyes. That thing looks fine. I'm interested how those eyes are going to work, though. Then we have this witch hat on top of the books. It says it's animated, but if you read the description, it says hand crawls across table, which they got mixed up with, obviously, that crawling hand down there, which is also new. Crawling hand. Been sold for a million years. What else can I say about it? And then we have that doorbell thing there. I mean, we can't really get a good look at it here, so I don't know how to feel about that one. Moving down, we have this tabletop animated skeleton. It says it sways from side to side. I mean, sure, we've seen so many of these. And then we probably have one of the most badass things in this catalog, being this freaking skeleton guitar, or it says ukulele, but obviously it's in the shape of a guitar. It says it's animated, which I don't think it is, but if it is, I don't know what it would be. It has a very, very strange design to it. I'm not even sure how the skeleton is formed on there, but it's still really cool seeing a guitar. I mean, it's such a weird looking thing again, but it's a freaking guitar. What do I care? Next page, we got some cemetery stuff. I'll start off with this big archway that says, "Enter if you dare." It's alright for Sunstar. I mean, it's not that detailed, but I do like that spider web at the top. That's pretty cool. Other than that, it is super, super bland and basic, but it's good enough for what you need it for. And then you have that big skull there. I feel like we've seen so much like this before. But moving down to that tombstone there, this is actually pretty cool, very well detailed. I like how it has those bat wings, and then you have that skeleton laying on it. It's actually a really, really nice tombstone. I think it could do without the lights and maybe a darker color palette for the bone texture there. But other than that, this thing is actually pretty good, especially for Sunstar. And moving down, we just have this tombstone. It's alright, I guess. Now on to our final page, we have the skulls. Starting off with those Ouija board skulls, these are really, really nicely detailed. I mean, this is some good stuff here, especially from Sunstar. I mean, while they are just simple skulls, again, they have super, super nice detailing on here, and I really like the Ouija board theme. It looks really cool, especially with the sun and the moon on both sides of the head, and then you even have the actual board part on the head. That is pretty cool. Moving on to this swampy skull stack here. This thing's alright, I guess. The eyes, the way they light up in the photo, look pretty weird, so I wonder if they're going to do anything special. It doesn't look like it says anything about that in the description, so they might just light up normally. But as for what this is, I guess it's okay. Moving down, we have some eyes. I'm not really sure why that was even included on this page. But moving over, we have this sick-looking vampire skull here. Now, I'm not exactly sure why an ear is a part of a skull, but regardless, this thing still looks pretty cool, and I love those big fangs it has on it. Really nice stuff here. Moving over, we have this cracked brown skull. It kind of looks like somebody smeared shit all over it. And then moving over to this last skull here, we have the devil horn skull, and I actually really like this one. The face it's making and everything, it looks really sinister and actually really good. So overall, I have to say they did a good job on their skulls. Probably their most high quality work, if I'm being honest. But yeah, that's it for the catalog. Well, everybody, that does it for my overview of this Sunstar Halloween 2024 catalog. I'm really interested to know what you guys think about this stuff, so be sure to let me know in the comments below. Now, my opinion, I think it's alright this year. I mean, you never really expect much from Sunstar, but they have occasionally a few pretty good items, and we may have even found some rip-offs in today's video, so that's always a positive if you ask me. Will I be actually getting anything from this catalog? Probably not. I mean, this stuff goes to a whole bunch of random stores, and it's unlikely I'll probably ever find most of it, so even if there was something I want, I probably would have never got it anyways. But that's going to do it for me, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe, and remember, nobody outpixelates the pumpkin.